It is AFCON quarter-final time, and some of the nations that we have been following the whole way through have made it to this stage. I can believe it. I was going to say I can't believe it. I can believe it. The sides we're going to focus on in this video are Gambia and Equatorial Guinea. I hate to be the guy who bigs himself up, but I did a video on Gambia before this tournament even started, and I said they'd surprise people. But talk about Equatorial Guinea for a moment, Ryan. How good have they been?
They have been great, and maybe have they got less love on this channel than Gambia, because whilst they are a minnow, they're probably not as much of a minnow as Gambia. Yet their achievements are by no means less impressive. Quarter-finalists of AFCON. We're talking about these two nations. Quarter-finalists of AFCON. Now, of the two last 16 ties, now we're talking about Equatorial Guinea, I think their result, beating Mali, was just crazy impressive.
Yeah.
0-0 after full time, and then that bonkers penalty shootout to win it. How much of that one did you get to see? I know you've been all over the AFCON hype.
Yeah, I mean most of it. I try to keep track of all of the round of 16 games, and as you know, I'm going to use this as a quick segue to talk about the achievements of Malawi and Comoros, who both unfortunately fell at the last stage, but incredible goals from Unchangama and the ridiculous goal that Malawi scored as well from like 40 yards out. But congratulations to them. Yes, yeah. Congratulations to them for their achievements, and I'm sure that they will be back. But Equatorial Guinea, I mean, that was the day both games finished 0-0, of course. Egypt got through as well, didn't they, in their game against the Ivory Coast on penalties. And it was just... I did feel a little bit like that victory on penalties was written in the stars as the game was going on, and Mali was searching more and more for the goal, and it just wasn't coming. It
was so wasteful. They
were so wasteful, and I began to believe more and more as the game went into it. Like you said, Equatorial Guinea, we've not given them as much love on this channel, and the reason is that Gambia were 150th in the world, lowest ranked side going into the tournament, and you know the fan base. I've spoken about them so much, and we will touch on them later in this video. But Equatorial Guinea, arguably, some of the results are more crazy. You know, getting through the group was one thing, but you know, so they play Senegal on Sunday, 30th of January. That's the second game that's on, and Senegal are probably now favourites. I'd say it's them or Egypt are probably the favourites to go on and win this tournament. But if anyone can do it. If anyone can, and by do it, from Equatorial Guinea's perspective in this game, I do mean grind out a 0-0 or a low scorer. Yeah. I think they can do it. And you know what? I would love for them to... the last thing I'd want is for them to go out sort of 3-0, 4-0. But I don't think they will. I think that... Do I think they'll get through against Senegal? No, personally, I don't. But I think that one thing that we've seen from them the whole way through is courage and passion. And if the geezer with the pink hair can get on the ball in this game, they've got a chance.
How good is that left peg?
Ridiculous. Ridiculously good player.
I think we may have mentioned a certain Iban Edu on the last video, actually, when we were speaking about Equatorial Guinea. The guy has been excellent in this tournament so far. A couple of notable shout-outs to defenders Abono and Ndong, who I thought played quite well against Mali. And as you said, mate, Senegal up next. And look, they got a fairly routine 2-0 win against Cape Verde in the last 16. But they have been stuttering, I think, through this tournament. Their group was fairly straightforward. They drew a couple of games that you thought they'd have won. I think one of their wins was Mane super late on the penalty spot as well.
Zimbabwe.
So if there's a team that's played some stronger teams through this tournament so far, has been organised defensively, has had a keeper, Iwono, who's been making great saves not only in game but from that penalty shootout as well, and it's kind of potentially set up to frustrate one of these bigger nations, it is Equatorial Guinea. Now, how do I think they'll do against Senegal? it's a real tough ask, isn't it? It's a real tough ask, but I don't think it's incomprehensible that they can grind something out. I think something they'll definitely do is they'll make it difficult for Senegal, for sure.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, you look at it, and in the group stages, they lost their first game 1-0 to the Ivory Coast, the only goal that they've conceded so far. And then they beat Algeria and beat Sierra Leone, and of course drew with Mali, like you say. And I think, you look at it, it's like they literally lost 1-0 to the Ivory Coast and beat Algeria. So what is to say that they can't at least keep the score low? Now, they're not a team that bangs going forward. Set pieces and things like that will be pivotal for them today. Sunday when they play. But it really, for me, both games actually are going to come down to the defences, because we're going to move on now to Gambia, talking about Gambia versus Cameroon, which is actually then the first quarter-final that will be played at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. UK time on the 29th of January. Gambia are... There's not too much we need to say about them. History makers. They continue to be absolutely incredible. I don't know if you've seen the videos that have come out from the captain and the gaffer, what they said before the game, what they said after the game, and the incredible scenes. Yet to concede a goal is crazy. This is their first African Cup of Nations, and they haven't conceded. Still unbeaten. They're the only. Obviously, I literally said after 2 group games as a joke, they're the only side in AFCON history to be unbeaten. And now they find themselves in the quarterfinals, still unbeaten. They play Cameroon. They play hosts Cameroon, who have snuck through and on a number of occasions been up against decimated sides due to COVID cases. Again, touching on poor old Comoros, who almost got a result in Changama with that stunning free kick to make it 2-1. But the left back was in goal, Ryan. Incredible scenes in that game.
Al-Hadhour, he did well.
He did. There was an incredible double save, an awful first save from a pass back from Abubakar, which he then flicks to the other striker, but then an incredible second save. And of course there was one goal, I think it was the second goal they conceded, he would have saved it, but he forgot he was in goal and had his hands behind his back.
I saw.
Yes.
Was that Abubakar? I think that might have been Abubakar that went through, and he was almost kind of shaping to finesse it past him, or however. And Al-Hadhour went up. He's like this.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, get your own mates.
I know. But I think the speed that life kind of moves now, you forget that you are witnessing history here. Comoros on their maiden AFCON in the round of 16 had a left back in goal. They brought 4 keepers with them to the tournament, all of them out with COVID. It was really, really unfortunate, and they did themselves so proud. And Cameroon, Vincent Abubakar he's on the brink of something very, very special in AFCON history. But he is going to have to come up against that Gambia side, like I said, yet to concede. In many ways, I don't know how they haven't conceded yet. They beat Guinea 1-0. 2 red cards in that game. I just want to touch on that. There was, of course, a red card. There was red cards all around in the round of 16. In the round of 16 fixtures, there were 6 red cards across the 8 games, which is bonkers, really. And I just want to say, a little touch on that. I don't think either of these red cards were particularly red cards in this game. Luckily, they didn't alter the result in any way. But Gambia deserved to win that game. They had one real chance, but there was only one chance in the game. I did the watch along for it. There was nothing really going on. There was one chance where Colley made an incredible sliding tackle, and there was another where the keeper made a good save, and it almost fell kindly, but didn't in the end. And I think Gambia, I don't think that the occasion will get to them, and I think that they will. In the quarter-final stage, I think they'll give Cameroon a really, really good game. The key is keeping Vincent Abubakar quiet, and I think it comes down to whether or not they can.
Mate, let's not forget, we won't because we keep saying it, 150th in the world.
Yeah.
Do you know who's 153rd? New Caledonia.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who's 155th? Andorra. That is the level we are talking. Those are the sides that are near them in the rankings. And They are in the quarter, mate. They're in the quarterfinal of AFCON. It's ridiculously amazing. The game against Guinea, it was cagey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was cagey. You did the watch along with Fair Play. I caught a fair chunk of that. I was in the chat a little bit. You did a mighty fine job of keeping that chat going, keeping that entertaining, because it wasn't a sensational spectacle, but it was never going to be. Because Gambia knew they had to approach the game, had to keep things tight, be cautious, be diligent defensively, and they were exactly that. Gay, the keeper in the sticks, was brilliant. Did everything he needed to do, and Colley and Gomez as the centre back pairing were superb. You kind of said about there wasn't that many chances, was there? Guinea had a goal ruled out for offside. That was a moment from the game, and then they had that moment where the cross came in, and he sort of shanked the cross, hit the near post, and it then came out, was set to a guy, blasted one, keeper made a cracking save, tipped onto the bar. But that was kind of it, wasn't it? Really, Guinea had a bit of pressure, a bit of possession towards the end, but they couldn't break them down. They couldn't break them down, and they found a way to win and secure that spot in the quarterfinal. Moussa Barrow, you mentioned the single goal. Moussa Barrow with it. They didn't have many chances, but when they got it, they took it, and they held on, and they've been rewarded with this quite glamorous tie against Cameroon in the quarters. What sort of chance have they got? What do you think? How do you think it's going to pan out, that one?
I think that I honestly think that it's 50-50. I think that I'm going into it cautiously, because I've seen what Cameroon are one of the only sides that have actually scored goals, if you know what I mean. Like, they've had games where they've put 2 or 3 past oppositions. I think it really, for me, it comes down to how many Cameroon score. I don't think Gambia will score more than 1. I think they might get 1.
So what? It hinges on whether they Colley can lead that defensive unit to solidity again and keep things tight.
I think so.
They'll want to go send again, won't they? They'll want to keep the cage. They want to keep this game super low scoring, 0-0 for as long as possible. Can they nick something on the break?
That's it.
I think, again, I think it could be. Oh, mate, I'm so hopeful. I'm so hopeful. Like, Cameroon are the hosts. They've got all the pressure on this game. They know they've got such a chance to not only win this game, but to win the tournament. Think of all the big teams that have dropped out. We mentioned that Senegal and Egypt and the like are still in, but Morocco have impressed. But Cameroon will look at it, host nation. Will they have a better opportunity to go to the later stage of the tournament? And they've got a tie against Gambia in the quarter-final. They'll be thinking, but what comes with that is pressure. And if Gambia successfully keep things tight, and suddenly it's half-time, and then it's 60 minutes, and then it's 65 minutes, it's 0-0 still. You don't know, mate. Anxiety creeps into performances. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But if they take the spirit, the organisation, the passion that they've showed throughout the tournament so far into this game, which I have no doubt that they will, we could be in to see something very special again. And no disrespect to Cameroon, but I am seriously hopeful of something spectacular on Saturday.
We're all Team Gambia, aren't we? I will say, you look at it, what's a tournament? The last 8 teams are Gambia, Cameroon, Burkina Faso, Tunisia, Egypt, Morocco, Senegal, and Equatorial Guinea. That is stunning. You've got no Algeria. You've got no Nigeria, Algeria, Ivory Coast. These are 3 teams that are massive in this continent, and they're all out. And that is truly. I mean, even sides like Ghana are big sporting sides. They've got to. Did they win it? They win it not too long ago, Ghana. Well, they certainly got to the latter stages. They had Avram Grant. I think they won it with Avram Grant as manager a little while ago, and Algeria won it last time out. And you look at it, and like you say, Gambia. I mean, either Burkina Faso or Tunisia are in the semi-finals, which is brilliant already. Gambia, Gambia and Equatorial Guinea. We would love it. We would absolutely love it. We're cheering them on. We're cheering on the Scorpions. We're cheering on Equatorial Guinea. We absolutely love it. And we could talk about this all day. All day. But we're not going to. We're not going to. We're going to call it there. Please drop a comment. If you're from anywhere, actually, but particularly, of course, if you're from Gambia or Equatorial Guinea, drop a comment on this video. What do you think the score is going to be? Who do you think is going to go through? And can your side go all the way? We are eagerly anticipating this round of quarterfinals. All the other videos are on the channel. They're going to pop up on your screen in just a moment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We love you all, and we'll see you next time.